Remember, local prosecutors were like, these are student protesters. What the fuck are you doing? We are not going to pursue felony charge against student protesters that are protesting against Israel. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Well, Attorney General Dana Nessel said, nope, we are going to do that. Remember, there is some good news. Let's take a look at this good news. Felony charges against the University of Michigan pro-Palestinian protesters have been dismissed. This, of course, comes after the FBI, in coordination with Dana Nessel, okay, with Democrat Attorney General Dana Nessel, in a state run by Democrat governor, in a state run by the Democratic governor, who is now, Big Gretch, who is now a Trump ally, seemingly, who keeps finding herself accidentally alongside Donald Trump, issued a raid in coordination with the FBI on American citizens. Okay? On American citizens. What? Israel and America are starving Gaza? Wow, Assad is bad. That guy's a joke. I mean, he's trying to expose the hypocrisy. That's all he's doing when he talks about that. Anyway, Michigan judge dismisses felony charges against pro-Palestine student protesters after Attorney General Nessel's controversial intervention. A Washtenaw County judge has dismissed all charges against 7 University of Michigan students arrested during a pro-Palestinian encampment last spring, closing a months-long legal battle sparked by the state attorney general's controversial decision to pursue felonies after local prosecutors declined. Remember, local prosecutors were like, these are student protesters. What the fuck are you doing? We are not going to pursue felony charge against student protesters that are protesting against Israel. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Well, Attorney General Dana Nessel said, nope, we are going to do that. Remember when she said that she was going to do that? These are Americans, by the way. These are American citizens who were student protesters. That's why they couldn't detain them with an immigration enforcement action in the way that Donald Trump has done so far. Donald Trump's State Department has done so far. Okay? Remember, a severe escalation of civil liberties, okay? A severe escalation of civil liberties in this country, a severe violation of the First Amendment conducted by a blue attorney general in a under the leadership of the Democratic Party at the time with a Democratic governor. And Rashida Tlaib was right to call this out and said, why this double standard? Why this double standard for student protesters? We've never done this for Black Lives Matter protesters. We've never done this for any protesters at all. Why this double standard? And what did Dana Nessel go and do? Dana Nessel turned around and said, wow, Rashida Tlaib, you're being quite anti-Semitic. After all, I'm Jewish. How dare you imply that there is a double standard here? Rashida Tlaib was right and was vindicated time and time again, as she will continue to be vindicated time and time again. Dana Nessel turned around and implied that Rashida Tlaib was anti-Semitic for calling out this hypocrisy, this double standard. Dana Bash, also known as Dana Fash, on CNN, alongside Jake Tapper, also known as Jake Yapper, turned around and also attacked Rashida Tlaib. They had to retract some of those statements for the record. Yes, Dana Nessel is the one who dismissed those charges. Just wait, okay? Wait for the whole story. I know, you're spoiling it. I know what happened. It wasn't the county judge. The drop site got it wrong, okay? Just wait. I'm going to get to it. The reason why she did this, aside from smearing Rashida Tlaib and calling her an anti-Semite, which is something that I think many people in this community are very familiar with whenever someone, especially a Muslim person, God forbid a Muslim person says, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. All of a sudden it's like, oh, it's because I'm Jewish? Is that what it is? What? Oh, dual loyalty trumps? Is that what you're doing? It's like, no, you're the one who's behaving in a fucking insane manner. This doesn't make any sense. All 7 pleaded not guilty and were represented by a team of Dearborn-based attorneys working for free who cited deep concern over civil liberties and the state's criminalization of student dissent. Attorney General Nessel had initially pushed the charges. The felony charges were filed by Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel after the local Ouachita County Prosecutor's Office refused to bring them. Nessel reportedly intervened at the request of University of Michigan regents, sparking backlash from civil rights groups and elected officials who questioned the political motivations behind the prosecution. Hassan isn't anti-Semitic. Anyone who thinks otherwise, a dumb baby head. No, they're just like motivated. They're motivated into believing that because that makes it much easier for them to feel like they're actually the correct they're arriving at the correct way to defend the pro-Palestinian position, or rather that it exposes their internal contradictions, and they don't like that. Yeah, but two things can be true at once. Yes, I know two things can be true at once, except this is, they can be dumb and also motivated. Yes, you're right. All charges have been dropped. On Monday, Nessel's office moved to dismiss the remaining charges, both felony and misdemeanor, effectively closing the case. Civil liberties groups say the case should have never been brought. Felony charges against the 7 University of Michigan pro-Palestinian protests were dismissed by Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, not by a judge. Nessel's office moved to dismiss the charges and the court accepted the motion. Nessel said she stands by her original decision to prosecute, claiming a reasonable jury could have found the students guilty, but she concluded that continuing the case was no longer a prudent use of my department's resources. The reason why they did this, by the way, the reason why they did this against American citizens who were student protesters at the University of Michigan, okay? The reason why they did this was to engage in a chilling effect on speech. That is precisely the reason why they did this. It was never prudent. It was fucking bullshit, and it was a great misuse of funds. But not only was it a great misuse of funds, it was a severe escalation. It was a severe escalation that erroneously and perhaps in the most, it was the most severe violation of the First Amendment in the United States of America, being conducted by a Democrat attorney general in a state that's run by a Democrat governor. And it started under the Biden administration. Look, here's my coverage from September.
Is sloppy in the way that he tries to propagandize these positions. He has notoriously been a major enemy to the likes of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Far before October 7, he is one of the most biased and one of the biggest Islamophobic assholes. Here's the investigative reporter from Detroit Metro Times. Here's the full remarks from the Detroit Metro Times, by the way, the article. This is a move that's going to set a precedent, and it's unfortunate that a Democrat made that move, Tlaib said. You would expect that from a Republican, but not from a Democrat, and that's really unfortunate. It was very inclusive. It was diverse, very loving, Tlaib, Detroit Democrat says. When I visited, I remember they were talking about the Armenian genocide and what we learned from that. It was very powerful. I wish University of Michigan President Santa Ono could see his students as people that just want to save lives, no matter their faith or ethnicity. We've had the right to dissent, the right to protest, Tlaib says. We've done it for climate, the immigrant rights movement, for black lives, and even around the issues of injustice among water shutoffs. But it seems that the Attorney General has decided if the issue was Palestine, she was going to treat it differently. And that alone speaks volumes about possible biases within the agency she runs. Rashida Tlaib made no mention of Attorney General Nessel's Jewish heritage. She suggested that there were possible biases against pro-Palestinian voices in her office based on her decision to charge the protesters. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel leveled the same false claims against Rashida Tlaib, accused her of being anti-Semitic. This was 3 days ago. Rashida's religion should not be used in a cartoon to imply that she's a terrorist. It's Islamophobic and wrong. Just as Rashida should not use my religion to imply I cannot perform my job fairly as Attorney General. It is anti-Semitic and wrong. Jake Tapper has done this so many fucking times when it comes to black and brown congresspersons, but specifically Muslim congresspersons. He always gets away with it because Islamophobia is normalized in American society, in especially the post 9/11 universe. That is precisely the reason why he can say whatever the fuck he wants about.
Yep. Straight up. Straight up.